Hello everyone. In today's Cenozoic profile remake I'm going to be doing is one of Cenozoic's largest rodent. The rodent was first described based on a collected from the Barras de San Giorgio, Uruguay, a series of sea cliffs in the San Jose department by Kiru Beach. The enormous fossil catalog numbered 28 VI651 SPV FHC comprises a left mandibular lower jaw fragment which preserves the bottom part of the incisor. The premolar, the first two molars, a cavity comprising to the third molar and ramus, the portion of the lower jaw that comes up to the connect to the skull. In 1966, Uruguayan paleontologist Julio and Alvaro made this type specimen a new genus and species, Artigasia magna. They also identified the paratype 26XI6429 SPV FHC, the tip half of the lower left incisor. The genus named honors the Uruguayan national hero Josephoartigasia, and Magnus is Latin for large. However, in 2007, Manas renamed the genus as Josephoartigasia because the previous name is a junior homoneura, Artigasia, a genus of nematodes, named by parasitologist Jesse Roy in 1934. That name, that is, the name Artigasia was already taken. In 2008, Uruguayan paleontologist Anders and Uruguayan physicist Rudimar described another species, J. monsoni, based on a massive and nearly complete skull also from that same place where the J. magna was found. The name honors Manas for his work on the South American rodents. The skull itself was actually recovered in 1987 and donated to the National Museum of Natural History, Uruguay, by fossil collector Sergio, but sat there responsibly until despite its appearance that it may look like a capybara that it's related to. But here's the thing. It is not a relative of a capybara, but rather Josephoartigasia is a member of the family of Diamyrdae, a group of hystraconic rodents native to South America, most commonly identified in Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela, and Uruguay. The only living member is Pacorana, one of the largest living rodents at 15 kilograms, 33 pounds. The family is typically divided into 4 or 5 subfamilies. Josephoartigasia is classified in Uramagarimae. A Diamyrdae is a poorly defined family, and there is no clear morphological diagnosis that can include every member currently relegated to it. This is because most dimerid species are known by fragmentary remains of teeth and mandibles. In the year 1965, France and Monas stratigraphically separated the Barras de San Giorgio into the Kiru Formation at the base, the Cenozoic Formation above, and the Arvesicite Formation at the top. Dated them to the Matamathosan, Japamalan, and the Andesidan ages, respectively, according to the South American land mammal age geological time scale. On the International Geologic Time Scale, the older two would comprise to the upper Paleocene and the youngest to the Pleistocene. J. magna was not found in the in situ in the spot that the fossil was originally deposited in, but in 1966, Francis and Monas assumed it came from one of the older two of the three formations. They defined since eumegamines had never been reported from the quandary of those two. They guess it came from a younger one. The Cenozoic Formation sits on account of its enormous size. They summarize it must have been a derived species. It had a long time to evolve such a specialized trait from a hypothetically minuscule ancestor. Nonetheless, they could not entirely rule out Kiru preference. The Cenozoic Formation contains fluvial deposits carried by rivers and streams, and features gray-greenish sandstone and conglomerates overlain by clayish sandstone with loose intercalcated carbonate pockets. In 1966, geologists Hector and Jorge defined the Rajon Formation, which they subdivided into the Cenozoic member, the same as Francis and Mona's Cenozoic Formation. Below the San Bursitia member above. In 1988, Monas identified lower Pleistocene levels in a Cenozoic member. In 2002, American paleontologist H. McDonald and Uruguayan paleontologist Daniel suggest that the formation may represent a wide time span from the Monabasan all the way to the Ensidaon. J. Montesini was recovered in a situ from a boulder originating in the San Jose member. The boulder is made up of a slit stone, claystone, and medium grind, and medium conglomerate pessamite a type of sandstone, intercalcated with slit stone. Josephoartigasia mosteni is the largest of the species was roughly the size of a bison or a horse, with estimated body length of 3 meters, 9.8 feet, and a height of 1.5 meters, 4.9 feet tall. And its skull was exceptionally large, measuring up to 53 centimeters, 1.7 feet in length, and its estimated body weight vary is likely to weigh between 900 kilograms to 2,000 pounds and 1,211 kilograms, 2,670 pounds. And know what you're thinking, that you might think it's a defenseless rodent that has no means to defend itself, but it has its teeth and bite. In 2012, the estimated bite force of J. Monsoni at the incisor by reconstructing a major biting muscle and their strength. They reported 799 to 1,199 newtons, with the mean of 959 newtons, which is not entirely unrealistic given the animal's mass. The bite force is comparable to that of many large carnivores. For example, polar bear has a bite force of roughly 751 newtons, 169 pounds per square inch, and the jaguar 1,014 newtons. In 2015, British anatomist Philip to estimate the absolute maximum possible bite force, because the bite force of the Josephoartigasia is of 967 or 1,850 newtons at the incisor, 2,082 to 3,970 newtons at the premolar, 2,301 to 4,389 newtons at the first molar, 533 newtons, 4,819 newtons at the second molar, and 2,914, 5,534 newtons. At the third molar, the force at the third molar rivals the bite force of the largest crocodilians. The bites would induce stress across the skull. Like 24.8 MPa or 3,600 psi for the bite at the incisor, 23.4 MPa, 3,390 psi at the premolar, and 27.4 to 39.1 MPa, 3,970 to 5,670 psi across the molar comprises and tensional strength. The stresses at which bones would fail. Of the cranium were respectively 180 and 130 MPa, 26,000 and 19,000 psi. So the skull was clearly reinforced for something other than just bite. For comparison, a peak stress of felids and canids can range from 5.6 to 21.8 MPa, 110 to 3,160 psi. Josephoartigasia had strong and extremely procumbent incisors and a reinforced skull, and a large diastrema between the incisors and the grinding teeth. This combination is usually seen in rodents that use their incisors to either dig or process hard objects, such as nuts and wood. If the former, Josephoartigasia could have been digging up roots or excavating large burrows to inhabit. Mega burrows have been found in South America, but it is not conclusive evidence that because Josephoartigasia is not the only animal that could have been carving them out. Powerful incisors were likely also used for defense against predators. Defense against a charging predator would have been subjected the incisors to var- variable and intense loads, which would necessitate a high section modulus to avoid structural failure. For their diet, they would have ate periodically fruits and soft plants, namely aquatic vegetation, as the animal seems to live in estuary environment. This is because they initially guessed J. mossoni could not grind up tough plants due to having weak chewing muscles on account of its slender cheekbone, proportionally small grinding teeth, and small pterygoids move the jaw side to side, important for grinding. The later restated this after calculating the immense bite force of J. mossoni. This would allow it to consume a wide variety of different foods, hard or soft. Its incisors, in addition to attacking predators, could have been used to dig up roots, much like elephants use their tusks. The bite force of an elephant has never been measured. But because African bush elephants are able to dislodge the upper scula, a molar fruit seeds, they must be able to extrude and at least 2,700 newtons, 610 pounds, since the germination. I'm sorry for mispronouncing the name. Germination of the seeds is much more likely than they pass through the elephant digestive system. The marula may have evolved to disperse by mega herbivores comparable to producing such high bite force. Carbon isotope analysis of the enamel of the giant fossil rodents, including J. monsoni, reported that they ate only C3 plants, such as leaves or fruits, as opposed to C4 plants, such as grasses. The modern capybara similarly is known to selective eat C3 over C4 plants, even when the latter is much more plentiful, yet they will they will still eat C4 plants in a leaner times. This behavior may have also been exhibited in Josephoartigasia. And for its paleoecology, from the formation of the Rajan Formation, other animals discovered at the place included toxodontids, peccary, ground sloths, glyptodonts, darter birds, and an indeterminate scimitar-toothed cat, a terror bird, a capybara relative, and a vampire bat, Desmodus draculae, several fishes, and turtles. The area may have been forested estuary environment. The Cenozoic member can be roughly dated to the around Paleocene to the Pleistocene boundary. During this time, the Uruguayan climate evolved from a dry and semi-arid one with sparse forest cover. Now, for their extinction is not understood and why they became extinct. They died out around 12,000 years ago. Climate change. The end of the last ice age brought significant climate shift, which may have impacted the rodents' habitat and food sources. Or competition. Invasive species migrating from North America could have competed with Josephoartigasia for resources contribute to its decline. And here's the thing. This giant rodent has never met Smilodon, Arctotherium, or North American canids, because this rodent became extinct. Whatever the cause of extinction is not known. And that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, and see you later, guys.